Welcome back to the Kiwihooper podcast. Traveling from Auckland to West Virginia, Zenthia Stowers arrived at the Marshall University not just with a suitcase, but with a winning habit. Welcome to the show, Zee.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
First of all, let's talk about your old high school team, Westlake Girls High. 4-time national champions in the row. Have you talked to any girls and the coaches since they won the title?
Yes, not since they won, but during the tournament, I have been speaking to them. EK Schroeder, the MVP, talking to her, just like giving her some advice and everything like that. And I appreciate her like coming to me as well. But no, super proud of them. And it's clear that Bronwyn and Nella are still keeping the same sort of program, sticking to their program, staying disciplined with it, and it's just cool to see the result. Yeah.
I can safely assume that the team's very disciplined. It's not an easy task to win 4 in a row, Why do you think the Westlake girls are so successful?
It's the culture that Bronwyn and Nella established within the team. They make it clear about how we're going to, approach a certain tournament like this and what our collective goal is and what it's going to take to get there. And I think it also is a testament to the girls like buying into that as well. Which is super important, and clearly, it's worked over the 4 years. And so, but yeah, no, everyone's just super invested, even teachers, directors of the school, like there's just a lot of work going in to the program that it's just, clearly helped us succeed. So, yeah.
Winning a national championship career is certain winning DNA. Can you describe a specific moment at the Westlake where that championship standard was non-negotiable, and how have you tried to bring that same standard to the Marshall locker room?
Like I said before, just staying disciplined with our goal and, knowing what we can do and keeping our expectations and our standards high was really important. And I think it's really helped me sort of take that here to keeping my standards high, keeping my expectations high. I'm looking forward to this year playing for Marshall, and so just trying to translate everything that I've learned from Westlake, winning 3 times for me, and then just trying to translate that to here. So I'd just say that the things that I've learned winning, I've definitely learned a lot of what it takes to win. So super excited to bring that to Marshall.
Most definitely. 2024 FIBA U18 Women's Asia Cup in China. What are some of the lessons you have learned, and what is one piece of advice that you took away from that tournament?
So for me, I was the youngest there. Bottom age wasn't my age group, but I was definitely, super grateful for that experience to learn from girls that are older than me. And especially playing in the Asia Cup where it's a different style of play. They're a lot quicker. They can shoot. They can penetrate to the hoop. So just playing against a different style of play was good because it sort of helped expose to me a different style of play and how I need to go against that with the skills that we have. But I'd say a different lesson from that would just stay consistent within practice, because we practiced every day, and just kind of be open-minded to what you're going to be up against. Although they have shooting skills and dribbling skills, I felt like every team sort of brought something different. Like China, they had like a 7-foot girl, so how are we going to go against that? But yeah, definitely would just be to keep going in tough situations like that. But I was lucky enough to be with a team that was super supportive of me. So yeah.
What was growing up in Auckland like for you, and who was the first person that handed you your basketball?
So I actually grew up in Australia for 12 years before I moved back in 2021. So kind of got the best of both worlds of Australian and New Zealand basketball systems. But I would say that my entire family gave me the ball because my parents played back in the day. But it was my brother that kind of started the path of playing basketball. And it was mainly when I first started playing, it was more just to be better than my brother because I was super competitive. I just wanted to be better than him. But it got to a point where I was just like, I started finding a love for it myself. And I started to enjoy it and just seeing the improvements from the game and just all the relationships and connections I'd made along the way just made me want to continue to play and just see how far I could get and what would come of it. So, growing up in Australia and Auckland, New Zealand has been really good for me. I think I've definitely been taught different values, different sort of cultures and mindsets. And it's obviously comes with a lot of challenges, but I think it's definitely helped shape me into the person that I am today, who I can say that I'm really proud of. So, yeah.
So the move from Auckland a major metropolis city to Huntington, West Virginia. It's a significant culture shift. What was the biggest culture shock for you, and what has been the most beautiful surprise aspect of West Virginian culture that you have embraced?
I would say that everyone here is super welcoming and just super like wanting to give you the best experience possible. Everyone knew that I was from New Zealand on the other side of the world, so they really wanted to make sure that I was having the best experience. And they were really invested into getting to know me, which I really appreciated. And hence, one of the reasons I came here to Marshall because of just how everyone was so welcoming. Um, I would say a different culture shock too is just the mindset here is very different. And I wouldn't say it's just a West Virginia thing, I'd just say it's a general American sort of mindset, which I do appreciate because, I've had to learn that coming back from, New Zealand where we're pretty laid back and we're pretty humble people. Whereas here it's a lot more like, work hard and sort of very straight to the point, and how they want to achieve certain things. And I do appreciate that. It's really taught me how to, play and sort of adapt to their style of play. So, yeah.
Excellent, excellent. And obviously, Marshall University has loads of histories. What are some of the interesting facts that you have learned so far about the school?
Funnily enough, when I heard about getting recruited from Marshall, like my dad had actually talked about, I'm pretty sure like there's a movie about the school, and I was just like, really? He's like, yes, we watched it, and I was like, oh, so we watched it back, and yeah, we had watched it. Unfortunately, I'm not sure how long ago it was, but there was a plane crash with the football players. Around 70 people had died of the football team, and many other supporting staff and coaches. And so you can really see it within the culture here that they're really, you know, prideful about their school and, really trying to make sure that they embody the, I guess, culture of um, pride, I guess. And I really like it. Everyone's super connected together and really family like orientated, which I love, similar back to being home. So that was definitely something I learned and that I appreciate that they still acknowledge to this day as well. They have certain events for that plane crash and sporting teams tend to run to the memorial area. So yeah.
They definitely turn the tragedy into a motivation to, be a better person, team, the whole community. So, which is awesome. What was the most difficult part to adapt into the training so far? Was it conditioning or the pace or the mental aspect of the game? Always being in attack mode. What was the one aspect that you think that's hard to adapt?
A goal for me was to always be consistent. And we're going into 20-hour weeks now where we're training 3 hours. So I think for me, it was just hard to really stay locked in for those 3 hours. I have a tendency to sometimes maybe like go off and like look somewhere, especially if it's early in the morning or something and you've got classes that day. So I would definitely say just locking in for the whole training and definitely a mental aspect to it because you're just juggling a lot more things during the day too. So
As the season progresses, I believe, you'll get used to it and overcome those challenges for sure. If you could send one piece of advice back to your 14-year-old self at Westlake, what would it be?
keep going. I think there was a moment in time where I was in my head a lot. So I'd say to just keep going, keep working hard, and you'll get to where you are and where you want to be. So that's definitely what I would say to my 14-year-old self.
That's awesome. We're going to get to a little bit of the personal questions. So, what is one fear that you have conquered, and how did you do it?
At the start of the year, I make goals for myself that I want to achieve, and it's definitely a fear of mine to not achieve that. And did not achieve one of my goals at one point, and it definitely was a huge setback for me. And I do feel like it affected how I performed in certain games and things like that. But I really just shifted it and turned it around, and thought that it's just one minor setback. I'm not going to let it affect all the work that I've made so far. There's still so much time that I'm not even sure of what I'm going to achieve in the future. So if I just keep working hard, taking criticism well, taking the feedback, and just refining those details of my game, then you know who knows what I can achieve. And so I'm pretty happy that I stuck it out.
What is a book, movie, or a song that you feel truly understand you?
I would definitely say any scissor song.
Okay.
Um, yeah, any song of hers I just love. You know, I was actually lucky enough to go to her concert
Oh,
last
amazing.
year, I believe. That was so good. Especially because apparently that was going to be one of her last concerts in New Zealand. So any one of her songs, she's just really powerful with her words, and the way she sings is just very heartfelt. So I like it.
What is a piece of advice that you received that you initially ignored, but later realized that was absolutely right?
Probably my speed in terms of going too fast. I think a lot of people told me that I would be going really fast, like 100 miles an hour, driving to the basket, and that was what was making me sort of lose my balance, not finish well. And initially I was just like, no, like the whole game's that's what it's supposed to be, go fast. But coming here, it's definitely been really huge to not be fast, just understanding areas of where I can be fast and then areas of where I can kind of slow it down. And, I was lucky enough to be working with Carl Buck, who taught me that. And he's sort of the person that really pushed it in me and sort of said, like, no, this is how it's got to be playing. You got to really see the floor, understand the speed that you got to go at, depending on the defense. So, yeah, I'm super grateful for him to sort of get that in me and make sure that I'm like applying that in the game. And I think it's really helped me coming here to Marshall and practices. So yeah.
That's amazing advice. Basketball is a game of creativities and also different speeds. Like if as a floor general yourself, controlling the speed of the game is so important. One is that you can preserve your energy for some crucial moments. Two is that you keep the opponents guessing what you're going to do, right? To keep them on their toes all the time. And I love watching your highlights of your running coast to coast fast break. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, definitely be smart about
Yeah.
playing the games. Yeah, that's a great advice that you have. And obviously, I think one of the huge reason why the coaches pick you up from Marshall is that you're a very competitive person. You want to be the one that beats all your brothers, and I think that's non-negotiable for the coaches, especially D1 coaches. What are something that you are deeply grateful for but never really expressed?
I would say my teammates. I feel like I say my family a lot, that's the common sort of theme, but I would say my teammates. Because, competing against them, they also really helped shape me into the player that I am as well. We never really went easy on each other. We knew that if we wanted each other to get better, we had to go hard. Um, and then also just off the court, they're just super great friends. I've made so many friends along the way in my journey of basketball, and that's what I've loved so much about it is creating those relationships. And still talking to them today. I still talk to Cody and Amy wherever they are. Like Cody's only 2 hours away from me. We still talk to each other, still help each other with basketball, supporting each other, and then obviously the girls back home and with the Westlake team. Still calling them, talking to them. So I definitely say my teammates. I really appreciate them. Yeah.
We have a question from our previous guest.
Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? That would be my question.
Wow. 5 years. Hopefully traveling the world. That is definitely my goal after college. I really want to travel the world, see where basketball can take me overseas. It's always been a goal of mine to play overseas, mainly Spain or Japan. Um, I just love different cultures and traditions, and I just want to experience it all. I just love sightseeing, and there's just so many great sightseeing things to do in those places. But also just again learning different playing styles, systems, like European play, Asian systems as well. Like it's just really cool to be able to add it to my game. So that's definitely where I hope to see myself in 5 years.
Have you got a question for our next guest? That is a great question. That's the first time I heard of that. That's amazing. Great. We'll pass it on to our next guest for sure. And have you got any question for us?
What's probably the best advice you've heard from any one of the guests?
That's gonna get me stuck because I heard so many good advice, but I think um, what you said was great. Like especially the one that about changing pace and using different. So basically, just having different gearbox, just not one speed. Like as a guard, either combo guard or just pure point guard, you have to have multiple different gearbox in order for you to be able to be successful on the court, be the floor general that you're supposed to be. So, um, but then again, it's a positionless basketball right now, so you see powerful running down the court doing the same thing. So, any basketball player, if they have different gearboxes, definitely develop that and use that. I think that's in terms of basketball, that's a great advice. So.
for sure.
Thank you so much, Steve, to hang out with us today. And I'm grateful that we get to talk for the first time. Is there any last words or any shout out to families back home and things like that you want to do?
Probably just shout out to my family that I miss them and, really appreciate them for getting me to where I am. So, yeah, that's me.
Amazing. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. Thank you for having me.